If I told you that social media censorship worked, that ending harassment and hate speech by banning people from the platform worked, would you believe me? I would be surprised if anyone said yes to that statement, because the reality is it doesn't work. And aside from platforms not banning those who should be banned and banning things that shouldn't be banned, what are we seeing now? We're seeing a dramatic escalation. Gaming companies have started moving out of their own communities to ban players based on what they said on someone else's platform. I think it's safe to say that most of us understand social media censorship just doesn't work, because there's no way an algorithm could actually police all of these statements or understand context. And there's no way an individual human can be free from bias when analyzing these posts. Before I get into all of that, I want to give a shout out to today's sponsor, you guys. If you haven't already, pop over to patreon.com/Timcast and become a patron today. There are several different tiers to choose from. Most notably is Tier 1. At $10 per month, you get access to behind-the-scenes photos and videos, commentary, and just bonus content. When you become a patron, you are the backbone of this channel. You help me do the work that I do, and it would not be possible without all of you. So please consider becoming a patron at whatever level you feel comfortable. So the first thing I want to bring up is a journalist that I know had a problem. See, somebody was actually harassing this individual, and what do you think Twitter did when it was reported? Lindsay Snell said, "Twitter, really? Would it have increased the chance of his account being suspended if I said he was a Russian bot?" Now the first photo she posts says, "Listen, 10k euro to a deported refugee and I will have you cut into pieces. I had a dream about cutting your throat and throwing you off a building." I think it's fair to say we all recognize that as pretty direct harassment. I mean, this person is actually insinuating they might hire a refugee to hunt this person down and cut them into pieces. Now, whether or not these threats are credible, that's up for an individual to decide whether or not they're going to act. But personally, I think this steps over the line. We've seen a lot of things on social media where someone's called stupid or crazy or just insulted, and no, that doesn't count. But this is a direct message from somebody actually threatening to kill you, talking about how they fantasize doing it. Certainly that's against Twitter's rules, right? No, it's not. "I investigated the account you reported and wasn't able to determine a clear violation of the Twitter rules. I realize this can be frustrating, and I hope you'll continue to report potential violations in the future. Thanks so much for understanding." Oh my God. Oh my God. How is that not a violation? That's crazy. I mean, you'd imagine if Twitter was this lax that nobody would be banned for anything. But certainly we've seen a lot of people get kicked off the platform, and sometimes the reasons seem, well, kind of personal and not professional. Like when we heard the CEO of Twitter was flat out like, "Get Chuck Johnson off the platform." That's a whole other story that I don't want to get into. But this just seems crazy, right? Social media censorship doesn't work. As I mentioned earlier, algorithms can't understand context, and individuals have different ideas of what is or is not harassment. That means there's going to be uneven policing on these platforms. Now, let's look at a different case that went the other direction. This story from Quartz just the other day: why is Instagram censoring a 1992 poem revered by the LGBTQ community? The poem is called "I Want a Dyke for President." Artist Zoe Leonard writes in her 1992 poem inspired by the author Eileen Myles' run for president and written at the height of the AIDS epidemic. The poem, "I Want a President," has since been shown in museums, galleries, and outdoor installations around the world. More than a quarter century after it was written, the poem made its way to Instagram and became the center of a controversy over censorship on social media. Now look, this poem, which you can search for if you want to read it, it's laden with words that might be offensive. Gay bash, fag, dyke. But the context of this art piece is extremely important. Though it uses offensive words, this piece, this poem, is amazingly pro-LGBT. And these words are used in an artistic fashion. But guess what? Algorithms do not understand context. It just doesn't work. The post, which had garnered about 12,000 likes, was taken down by the platform for violating community standards. Brown and Reimer posted the poem 3 times on Monday night going into Tuesday, and each time it was taken down. They asked their followers to share the poem, flooding the platform with hundreds of posts. Not everyone who shared the poem had it removed, but those censored include some big names in the art world, including the chief curator at the Museum of Contemporary Art in Los Angeles, which is planning a retrospective of Leonard's work. Now there is an update. On Friday evening, an Instagram spokesperson said the content was taken down by mistake and has since been restored, adding that it was taking steps to prevent this from happening again. Quartz asked for further clarification about the process by which the content had been removed, and will update with more information if Instagram responds. Now, I don't know definitively why this poem was removed, but it's likely that a computer algorithm saw these words that are considered offensive and said, you can't post this. Because as I mentioned now for the third time, computers, algorithms, they don't understand context. Maybe in the future we'll get to the point, but for now, we're not there. This is part of the problem of social media censorship. It backfires. It doesn't work the way you intend. You can have a female journalist receive a veiled death threat, someone flat out saying they're gonna hire a refugee and they could cut you to pieces and they fantasize about killing you, and that doesn't get taken down. But a pro-LGBT historical poem, out of context, absolutely gets taken down. It just doesn't work. And now let's move to the big scary. When gaming companies move out of their own communities to start policing the speech of people who play their game. This might not be the first instance, but it's something that was particularly prominent surrounding a controversy in the Magic the Gathering community. Travis Wu suspended by the DCI for 1 year. The DCI, formerly Duelists Convocation International, is the official sanctioning body for competitive play in Magic the Gathering. Apparently what had happened is that Magic the Gathering found out this player Travis Wu was part of a Facebook group called Magic for Bad, and he received this email. We write to you regarding reports of code of conduct violations arising from your involvement with the creation and administration of the Facebook group Magic for Bad. The internal player committee has reviewed these reports and has come to the following decision. Your DCI membership has been suspended for a 12-month period commencing on December 7th, 2017. Since this suspension is temporary, we hope that you use this as an opportunity to reflect and improve your behavior. Future infractions will be considered repeat offenses and will result in increasing penalties. While we do our best at Wizards of the Coast to give players a chance to improve, we will suspend indefinitely players who continue to create negative experiences in the Magic community. If you have any questions regarding what sort of behavior is appropriate in the Magic community, please consult the Code of Conduct. So, to summarize, a player, Travis Wu, had a Facebook group. People have accused him of posting racist, misogynist things. It's the same thing we kind of hear all the time. Whether or not it's racist or misogynist is up to the culture war, I should say. But the point is, Wizards of the Coast, the company that runs Magic the Gathering, somebody who works there went to this Facebook group, saw the things that Travis was posting and said, you are banned from playing our game in official competitive circumstances for at least 1 year. Now, they're a private company, and they can do whatever they want. If they don't want this player involved in their community, then it is what it is. And there's also the idea that having this community could create a toxic environment, and then Magic wouldn't be fun anymore. But I actually disagree. And full disclosure, I have been a long-time Magic the Gathering player since I was around, 7 or 8 years old. I've been playing Magic for a very, very long time. I got all my cards right here, actually. And I think the politicking ruins the game. People of all different political backgrounds and different ideologies play this game. I have some friends who are conservative who play it. I have some friends who are liberal who play it. And I have some friends who have bad opinions who play it. In fact, most of the people I know have some bad opinions at some point. So if someone's going to post something to a Facebook group and then get banned from competitive play, that's pretty worrisome. And in my opinion, that creates a more toxic environment where players, look, if you want to play this game professionally or competitively, you are now concerned about what you may or may not say on social media. That's not fun. That's not an environment I want to be involved in. I don't want to go to a game shop, sit down with my friends, and then have everyone be worried about what they may have posted on some platform. You want to post a meme, but some people find that meme offensive? No, that's not a game I want to play. And I posted about this a while ago, but I am taking a step back from any kind of official, Friday Night Magic or any competitive gaming shop. I'll still play with my friends if that's the case, but this is something I'm trying to avoid. And this is just the beginning, because now we have the current news. Blizzard, the company that makes several games like World of Warcraft and Overwatch, has announced they're going to start looking at YouTube comments to determine whether or not players should be banned. From PC Gamer, Overwatch Dev Update discusses toxicity, mercy nerfs, and which characters are due for changes. Keep in mind that this post has more to do than just the external policing of speech, and it's a gamer update. But essentially what happened is that we have this developer update video, and let's take a quick look at what happened in terms of toxicity and banning players.
But I'll give you an example of one thing that we've been doing that has proven very positive. We now proactively seek out social media sites like YouTube, for example, and look for incidents of very toxic behavior and track down the accounts that are participating in those and action them oftentimes before anybody's even reported them or they've shown up in any other place. So that's just one example of us being proactive that I think is going to make a big difference over time.
They now go to social media posts, whether or not someone has been reported, track down the owners of those accounts, and use that as grounds for suspension or banning or punishment in terms of rule violations. This seems pretty overbearing. Man, it's not really a future I want to be involved in. Where, look, I own Overwatch, I play Overwatch, I'm a big fan of Blizzard and Activision to an extent. And I got a loot box. I got this cool little loot box bank. You know, I love playing Overwatch. But I gotta say, it's damn freaky to hear that they're gonna start going to players' social media to determine if their behavior violates their community standards, whether or not somebody banned them. Now, if I play Overwatch, if I'm playing competitive or ranked, do I have to worry that someone at Blizzard is gonna try and track me down and ban me? Let's go back in time to what I said in the beginning of this video. There's a reason why I brought up the things I did pertaining Lindsay the journalist and the LGBTQ post. Censorship and banning people does not work because, for the fourth time I will say it, algorithms don't understand context and individuals have personal bias. That means something you say that is totally harmless might get taken out of context by an individual who tracked you down and say, "You're racist," and then ban you. In fact, there's a lot of people who don't believe Ugandan Knuckles is racist, and there's a lot of people who do. So if you post the Ugandan Knuckles meme, which review person at Blizzard is going to be the one that tracks you down? Are they going to be the person that says, "That's a racist meme and you are hereby suspended"? Or is it going to be the person that says, "Ha, that's a funny meme, I like this guy"? How are we supposed to know what we can or can't do? He also mentioned that Blizzard is starting to seek out social media sites like YouTube, look for incidents of toxic behavior, and then sanction the appropriate account, sometimes before anyone has even submitted a report in-game. What does toxic behavior mean? Seriously, please, define it for me. Because I don't think anyone has a clear definition of what that actually is. Is it toxic to criticize another player? Is it toxic to constantly complain about something a player is doing? Is it toxic to insult a player? If you make a joke and half of your team laughs about it and said, "That was a great joke, you made me experience joy and fun and kinship when I play," but the other half says, "My God, you're a racist, and now I hate the game." Which is it? What do? Do we always err on the side of negativity? Because it's better to have people who are content than people who are unhappy? It seems like this is the future we are creating. It's the world we're living in now, where being happy is trumped by being sad. If something makes you happy, who cares? If something makes someone sad, it must be stopped. Therefore, we're always going to err on the side of ending negativity, which is going to result in everyone just being at this baseline contentedness where no one's really happy, but hey, at least no one's being offended. Is that really the world we want to live in? Do we want to live in a world where you can't be friends with people, where you can't make jokes, and where you can't play video games the way you want to because the companies behind them will track you down on social media and then determine whether or not you are allowed to play based on your personal opinions, jokes you might make, or pictures you might share? Man, this future sucks. We're in the wrong timeline, guys. But let me know what you think in the comments below and we'll keep the conversation going. Hey, censorship doesn't work. The reporting system doesn't work, as I've shown you once again. But what about Blizzard and Wizards of the Coast tracking down players on their own social media? How do you feel about that? Comment below. Again, I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you want to follow me, I'm on Twitter at Timcast. You can support my work by going to timcast.com/donate. Thank you all so much for watching and hanging out, and stay tuned. I will see you tomorrow at 4 p.m.